Close your eyes for a moment. Do you feel it? That tightening in your chest, the chill creeping up your spine, as if something, or someone, was watching you just beyond the edge of the light. It's fear, isn't it? The kind that makes your breath catch, the kind that makes your heart beat faster, as the shadows seem to stretch and shift, waiting for you to take a step forward, or run. But what if I told you that this feeling, this haunting tug, isn't a warning to retreat? What if it's a call, a soft, insistent whisper that the door you are staring at, trembling, isn't a door to dread, but a door to who you are truly meant to be? In this moment, fear isn't your enemy. It's the guide you've been waiting for. Would you dare to walk through that door? The choice is yours. Enter the domain where shadows dance on the edges of our vision, and where unseen forces stir in the depths of our consciousness. Here, fear is neither a curse nor a weakness. It is a flickering torch illuminating a path we rarely dare to tread. In many shamanic traditions, fear is understood as a keeper of hidden truths, a guardian that bars our way not to harm us, but to challenge us. Rather than something to vanquish outright, it functions as an initiation, a trial by fire that reveals those half-forgotten parts of ourselves that yearn to be set free. Yet our instincts, sharpened by years of societal conditioning, urge us to retreat, to avoid that which makes the heart race. We neglect the truth that by avoiding fear, we also avoid the revelations it carries in its dark wings. Children, with their wide-eyed acceptance of life's many wonders, often have an uncanny ability to sense the hidden currents beneath everyday reality. Fear touches them in small doses, like the monster under the bed or the dread of an unfamiliar face, and it sparkles with an enigmatic quality that speaks to something more than mere fright. Over time, through rules and the steady hammer of conventional thinking, we learn to label our fears as obstacles to be locked away. And so we bury the part of ourselves that senses the deeper invitation, letting it fade into the background of the adult mind. Yet it never truly disappears. It only waits, re-emerging whenever we stand on the brink of something vast and unknown, whispering that perhaps, just perhaps, what lurks in the dark also harbors the seeds of our greatest growth. In the lore of shamanism, travelers venture into concealed dimensions of existence, guided by drumbeats, sacred plants, or a burning desire to uncover the mysteries of the human psyche. These journeys are often fraught with uncertainty, each step accompanied by the echo of an ancestral heartbeat that resonates with every fear we've inherited or created. The mere act of stepping beyond the ordinary world is enough to awaken dormant anxieties. Yet this is where transformation quickens. Fear becomes a mirror reflecting our hidden wounds, a stern teacher demanding that we look inward rather than trying to destroy the reflection. And so, through direct confrontation, the traveler ignites an inner fire, a soul flame, that grows brighter with each reconciled fear, lighting the way toward deeper insight and renewed vitality. We live in a modern era that often instructs us to suppress fear at all costs. It's easy to mistake fear for weakness, to label it a flaw in our character that must be eradicated if we're to appear strong. But in the hush of our own hearts, we know that fear is more than a simple adversary. Like an ancient sentinel, fear stands watch at the boundary between who we are and who we might become. It rings alarm bells whenever we approach that boundary, signaling that significant change looms ahead. From a shamanic perspective, this alarm is not to be silenced, but embraced. If we look closely, we discover that our most potent healing lies in the very places that make us tremble, for they hide the keys to understanding ourselves at a depth we never thought possible. Imagine a lone wanderer traversing a mist-laden forest. The trees, looming like silent titans, rustle with mysterious life. Fear creeps along the ground in tendrils, urging the wanderer to hasten through. But should the traveler slow down, breathe, and become receptive to the forest's rhythm, a curious thing happens. The fog reveals hidden pathways, side trails leading to unexpected clearings, and perhaps even a distant glow that might guide the way. By facing the unsettling aura of the woodland, the wanderer stands to discover secret sanctuaries and ancient wisdom concealed among the leaves. Fear, in that moment, transitions from an oppressive force to a sacred signpost, pointing beyond the immediate dread and into the realm of insight. Shamanic teachings highlight this principle of transmuting obstacles into thresholds. Fear, when confronted, can be the crucible for our most astonishing revelations. In that furnace of self-discovery, our soul flame is kindled, an inner light that intensifies as we honor the lessons that fear brings. We evolve, not by shutting our eyes to the darkness, but by meeting it face to face. This process awakens dormant parts of our spirit, stirs ancient memories, and aligns us with the rhythm of life itself. And in the aftermath, we see palpable changes on the outside, renewed creativity, deeper relationships, unexpected blessings that flow almost as if by magic. Still, this road is far from effortless. Often, the final seconds before we leap into the unknown are charged with our loudest doubts and our deepest foreboding. The heart pounds, the mind races through worst-case scenarios, and a wave of old conditioning screams for us to turn back. Yet the lesson from ancient wisdom traditions remains consistent. We must learn to view fear as an ally, not an adversary. This subtle shift can flip our perspective entirely, granting us the courage to press forward even when every cell in our body urges retreat. Time and again, spiritual masters across cultures have testified that plunging into the unknown with trembling hands is the surest route to awakening latent powers of consciousness. Many indigenous tribes describe a ritualistic practice of hunting one's own fear. Think of it as a quest in which the seeker actively pursues the experiences or visions that most unsettle them, believing that through direct engagement, they capture a piece of their lost power. Instead of running away, they stalk their apprehensions, observe them, converse with them. Through sacred rites, be it sweat lodge ceremonies, guided breathwork, or visionary plant medicine, they re-encounter the shape-shifting spirits of their nightmares. In that profound confrontation, they learn that fear is neither to be adored nor despised. It is a natural force, part of the cosmos, as essential to growth as sunlight is to a seedling. In truth, the only way to beat fear is to redefine what beating means. Most of us think victory implies eliminating fear forever. Yet fear is a signpost of expansion. It emerges whenever we push beyond our existing boundaries. If we silence fear completely, we might also silence the call to keep evolving. Shamanic wisdom suggests befriending fear, seating it at our table, allowing it to speak. Its words may be jarring, but the guidance we gain is invaluable. In forging this bond, we learn that fear can stand side by side with courage, that the two are not mutually exclusive. Indeed, genuine courage arises precisely because we acknowledge the presence of fear and stride onward, guided by a newfound clarity of purpose. As our inner fire, the soul flame, kindles through such encounters, it becomes a beacon not just for ourselves but for those around us. When we dare to shine light on our own vulnerabilities, others feel empowered to face theirs. The once paralyzing question, "What if I fail?" transforms into, "What if I discover greater truths than I ever imagined?" That sense of possibility reverberates through our relationships, our communities, and ultimately, the broader tapestry of life that enfolds us. Look back on your own journey and recall the times you stepped through fear's threshold. Didn't the air taste sweeter on the other side? Didn't your heart swell with an inexplicable sense of wonder at the notion of having dared to follow a deeper calling? Perhaps that is the final secret fear has guarded all along, the recognition that we are grander and more luminous than our self-imposed limits would suggest. We see that the darkest caves can hold the brightest gems, and that those trembling moments of vulnerability often precede our greatest transformations. With our soul flame glowing, the outer world seems to respond in kind. Obstacles dissolve more swiftly, people align with our purpose, and we feel an unshakable harmony that ripples into the very fabric of our everyday life. Through this process, we realize that embracing fear was never about surrendering to helplessness. It was about summoning the courage to let our inherent power emerge. Ultimately, the heart of shamanic wisdom teaches us that fear is more than a biological reaction. It is a spiritual summons. When we answer that call with openness, resilience, and curiosity, we discover an entirely new landscape within ourselves, a place where self-doubt transforms into self-knowledge, and hesitation becomes a catalyst for unparalleled growth. The only way to beat fear, then, is to journey with it, to invite it into the chamber of our innermost being, and recognize it as a force that can activate our highest potential. In doing so, we awaken a flame that lights the path for all who yearn to evolve beyond the smallness of conditioned existence.